There we go, folks. If there's any folks out there, Croc 76 Broadcasting. Booyah. Playing on
All the
a Wednesday.
copyrighted tunes or the duty-free tunes, you get none whatsoever.
Although I did have a lot of streams in the past that were theme streams. I'd play like either Nickelback or whatever, and the likelihood of me getting paid anytime soon is slim to none. It's more or less just,
What are we doing promoting that new Transformers movie?
well, fuck that. I should get it to him. Oh, no, he was there, wasn't he?
Yeah, they're both the main characters in it.
Well, I'd either go him or I'd go Megatron. I forgot to go Autobots so we can roll out.
Being Prime's a classic duo, though.
This is true. Prime's an old battle.
I mean, technically they weren't a duo. B's just right-hand man, but not right-hand drive.
Was that a zinger? Zing.
Funny, isn't it?
Punny. Haha. Maybe I should turn off the copywritten.
Also, can we, like, you ever notice how shitty of a friend Prime is to B? Gets his voice box torn out and does nothing to help fix it.
Well, it wasn't a priority to Prime. He just wanted him to shut the fuck up.
Well, that might be why he didn't do it. Deep down, he's just thinking, "Oh my God, B, shut the hell up."
I just think he was with no voice for what, 30 years, 20 years.
A long ass time, from like 1950 or 1960 to what, early 2000s.
I can't remember what fixed it. There's too many fucking movies. Too many movies.
Girl fixed it from the movies.
No, in the live action one.
Yeah, a girl fixed it.
It's a random girl.
Starscream literally cuts his throat, throws him off a cliff. The military chases him away because he's a robot yellow military jeep. Finds the bug, turns into the bug. Girl buys it as her first car, fixes it up, realizes it's an alien robot, and then she fixes his voice box.
And then they had an interspecies sex relationship.
And then he lost it again.
No
He
interspecies
tried to
relationship?
drink water after having sex.
Yeah, that's what happens. That's that old trope.
Yeah,
Don't
that
drink
old
water.
Chug 12 gallons of water after banging.
Jesus. Well, that was a mistake right there. He's a robot. He should have used oil.
Literally pisses on someone in the first movie, man.
Oh, yeah, he did, didn't he?
Was that
I've
the
seen...
first one? Yeah, that was the first one. His oil plug just
He just pops it out.
pops out of his crotch and they start pissing on him.
Nonchalantly either. He just didn't give a shit.
Yeah, he had both his arms on his side like superhero Superman stance. And he's just letting one rip.
Jesus Christ. Oh, do I don't even know
Does
for
that
broadcast.
mean Transformers produce oil? Or is that old oil they already had? Because if they could just produce oil the way we produce piss, wouldn't that be like an infinite source of oil? Shouldn't they be milking Transformers then?
They use Energon. They don't mention anything about lubricants as far as needing lubricants. I mean, so if they are a self-sustaining thing,
Yeah, that's their blood as their lubricants.
that's disgusting.
That's literally what they call it in the movie. They're like,
Yeah, but if his blood's his lubricants,
too many fluids.
so are we saying he's pissing his
There's
lubricants?
lubricant everywhere.
So is he pissing his blood then? What the fuck? That's a little messed up.
No, he's pissing oil.
Is oil a lubricant?
It is, but
I'm confused. yeah, I was trying to see if the broadcast is actually happening. So yeah, folks, Croc76 here, if you are watching. And yeah.
I feel bad for you if you are watching.
Oh no. There it is. I'll turn the sound down so you can see the chat. What I'll do is I'll put that right there in the corner. So if somebody does write to me, I can see it.
1:30. Are you kidding me? You gotta be kidding me.
Let's see.
Mustang 750R. Sounds like something he'll never afford. Because
1,
he's playing
2,
Fortnite.
3, 4, 5, 6. 5-second delay.
5-second delay.
Yeah.
What the hell are you streaming with?
No, it's a delay because it's purposely there. So I did a little bit of leeway.
Are you using a third-party app or just off the PlayStation?
Oh, it's off the PS5. It's not instantaneous. It's not like
Like through
as it happens.
Twitch?
I think Twitch is usually a 10-second. I think. I have Twitch. I'm not on there right now. I'm on YouTube.
It's so hard. Like, you can't ever know which service is going to be the better one to post to. Because Twitch fluctuates so bad. Some months it's like, oh, Twitch is really going under. It's not going to be a thing in a month. Then everyone switches to YouTube, and then they get into YouTube Reels and whatever. And then Twitch comes back. And then people that didn't leave the platform are now thriving more than ever. Because everyone that almost got to that point left before they could.
Or just be like
People
Ninja.
kept saying, oh,
Ninja
Twitch
broadcasts.
is going into the ground.
Ninja broadcasts on all three.
How could a broadcasting service get put into the ground if it's doing well? Oh, I get the whole point of that statement was it's copyright striking and it's child content.
Well, the problem with Twitch in general is the fact that they don't pay their streamers fairly. Well, they weren't. So a lot of them are left because they were taking a bigger percentage than they should be. YouTube takes 30%. I think Twitch was up to like 45, 50%.
Well, yeah, the only way for these streamers to make an actual, like, okay amount of income from these videos was to post it on Twitch and then re-upload to YouTube where their fans would also know, hey, if I missed the stream, I could watch the 3.5-hour stream right here on YouTube. And it actually works. People do that with Moist Critical all the time. That feller's on there with, like, 3.5, 4.5-hour long streams. And they're just re-uploaded streams that have already happened, and these 4-hour-long videos got close to like 2 million views. People are sitting and watching that entire 4 hours.
Well, that's what's happening with Ninja. Ninja gets like a shitload of views. He usually has an average of watching him live. Watching him live, probably 30, 40,000.
With the Revolver God, please.
You hear this?
Join the lobby sometime, man. Show us what you're made of.
I got one pump did him
Charlie
right,
ain't
but
gonna hear this, but the slight chance he does, big fan, man. Need to play Fortnite with the Revolver God.
The Revolver God.
Man, you want to see something nasty? You watch Moist Critical fucking play Fortnite with a revolver. Or hand cannon, man.
Jesus. Yeah, our cousin.
Watch this guy make people leave the lobby and fucking.
Our cousin used to do that.
What's it called?
Our cousin used to do that.
Clancy there, Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, I only played that once.
Yeah, it's hard as hell, man.
I played it once for about 20 minutes, and I was like, nope.
4 out of 5 enemies dead.
I was like, nope. Can't handle that one.
It's physics-based tactical game, right?
I'm a simple man.
You either know how to play it or you don't, and if you don't, you can't play it.
I'm a simple man.
Like Space Engineers, man. I don't know if you ever tried that, but that game is goddamn impossible to play without watching a 4-hour-long tutorial video first.
I think I had that game, but it's on PC.
It is so hard. Like, so impressively complicated. I can't understand. I can't even understand how to open a door in that game because you got to go through like 10 different option menus just before you can do anything with this. You click on the door and it's like, would you like to reverse the way the door opens? Would you like to open up, down, left, right, remove it? Would you like to change the color of it? Would you like to invert it? Would you like to open it? Would you like to close it? Or would you like to half open it? Or would you like to quarter close it? It's like, what the fuck is the point of any of these options? Just let me open the goddamn door.
Reminds me back in the days when we used to use Commodore 64 and you had to try to get your character out of a chair. And there was a specific phrase you had to use to do it. And me and Steven sat there for 6 hours. We couldn't get him out of the chair. We're like, what the fuck's the point of this game? Like, what is the point?
Get him out of the chair.
Hit yourself. Ouch. Don't do that. Fall over. Ouch. Don't do that. It's like you're Incredible Hulk.
I don't feel like it.
Yeah. I mean, like, what do we say?
Did you try get up?
Yeah, we tried everything, but we there's no internet back then, so you couldn't figure out how to do it, and it wouldn't tell you. So you're like sitting there like a moron for hours.
You had to go buy a fucking book or magazine.
They didn't have them.
How to do it.
They didn't have them back then. That was the 80s, man. There was none of that shit. You had to know somebody that had already played it. You had to know somebody that already played it back then. Even the gaming magazines didn't exist back then. It was all new era.
Call centers though.
Not for Commodore 64. Nintendo did, but not Commodore 64.
What the fuck was this game?
It was the Incredible Hulk, Commodore 64 game.
You can't get him to get out of the fucking chair.
You start the game with him tied up in a chair. And you're like, okay, well, how do we get him out of the chair tied up? Well, Steven's like, it's Incredible Hulk. I mean, he's got to hit himself. He hits himself? Nothing. Okay, fall over. You're on the ground. Okay, now get mad. Can't get mad. It's like, okay, you fell over.
Get mad.
Yeah, if you're trying to figure out what phrase to use, and it had to be specific in order to get him to change to break the ropes.
It was probably the first fucking line he ever said in the show.
I don't know. We did none of those, and then we got Spider-Man eventually, and it was the same thing. We're like, nope, we're not playing this game. Back to Space Invaders.
So the
Back to Pac-Man.
Commodore controller, that was basically just a keyboard, was it?
Keyboard, yeah,
Plugged
back then.
into the TV.
Plugged into a monitor. You had a disk drive, you had a tape drive, you had a keyboard, and you had the monitor. The actual keyboard was the computer itself.
Wasn't Oregon Trail on that, or was that on Mac?
I think it was Mac, but oh my god.
Yeah, I think that came out on iMac. And didn't Doom also come out on iMac? Or the first Macintosh?
Doom came out in, I think it was on Commodore 64, I think, the original first one.
No, I don't think so. I think Doom came out on it came out on a computer. Like some dude programmed it and then gave it with every computer as like a bonus. I think it was Macintosh. Like the first Macintosh came with a fucking copy of Doom on the desktop.
I don't know which one it would be.
That was a huge thing. That shit, like, Doom was one of the first 3D, like, yeah, 3D first-person video games. One of the first.
I'm asking Google. Let's see, it came out in 1993 on MS-DOS 94. Then it also came out on Sega 32X Atari Jaguar in 95. And then Super Nintendo Entertainment System and the PlayStation in 1996. So it was MS-DOS, so it would have been a PC, a regular PC. One of the first PCs.
MS, that would have been a Microsoft PC.
That's right. DOS Microsoft. So before the Windows operating system, which came out in 95, it was just MS-DOS, almost like Linux. Pretty much like Linux, actually. But it was an older style of Microsoft, which is sort of like Linux, but not like Linux. So yeah,
Bill Gates created Doom.
Oh no, yeah, I don't think he created it. It came out on his system. So whoever did create it, actually, who did? Let's see.
It was a programmer for Microsoft. I'm pretty sure.
Created by
So
John Cormack,
a
John
Microsoft
Romeo.
employee made that game.
It was created by 5 people. Owner is ID Software.
IB Software.
ID Software.
So it would have
American.
been a developmental company hired to work on the computers.
Well, let's see. American video game developers
Otherwise, why
based
would they
in.
put the game on the computer unless they had something to do with it?
There wasn't much else back then. There was for computer wise. It was either that or Mac. Mac was a lot more. Mac was not as good as PC was. What Windows back then because you could do more creating on the actual Windows, whereas Mac was kind of locked down.
Mac was set in stone, but Microsoft let you actually program things.
It was made in Texas. The company was from Texas, and they were formed in 1991. So 2 years later, they made Doom.
It's impressive.
They went out of business.
They helped program a PC, and then 2 years later said, "Hey, we just made a video game that's fucking first of its kind. Want to put it with your computer as a bonus?" You know how much money they probably got for that deal? Oh
Actually,
my god! Can you imagine if they got us like a percentage of each unit sold
those creators,
in the 90s? Holy shit!
Those creators, that team especially made Wolfenstein, Doom, and Quake.
I know.
It's a little
and
crazy.
They later sold out to Bethesda, so they're not hurting for money.
Oh, the company shut down in 2009.
Yeah, after they sold it to Bethesda.
Well, ZeniMax. It's probably bought it by Bethesda.
Now, the creator of Fallout also owns Doom.
Actually, no. They must be leasing it out to them because it says ZeniMax is the actual owner of the game, the original rights to it. And their parent company is Xbox and Microsoft.
So Microsoft funded Doom.
Well, Microsoft owns Bethesda, I think. It says right here.
Basically, Microsoft does own Bethesda, but basically, this motherfucker worked on the computer, and then with that money, he made a video game. And Bill Gates said, "Well, that's my video game because basically you made it with my money," and then made it a fucking bonus with every MS computer sold. Like it came with the computer. That I do know. It came with every.
I don't think it was Doom though. I think it was Wolfenstein 3D.
No, I think it was Doom, man. Wolfenstein came out after.
It came out before. A year before. 1 year before. Yep, 1992. Whereas Doom came out in 1993.
Well, I don't think they would have pre-programmed a game that was about killing Nazis on one of the first computers ever made. That would have been something we would have remembered. I'm pretty sure Wolfenstein came out after. Doom first. Wolfenstein was made first, but that was like a pet project. I know a little bit about these games.
Oh, good. God.
Wolfenstein literally just fucking... The whole game is like Doom perspective, but instead of shooting demons, you're shooting Nazis and robot Nazis. And Hitler... The boss at the end of the game is Hitler and a big fucking robot. Being healed by the Pope.
By the Pope?
By the Pope.
Jesus
Why
Christ.
would the Pope be healing Hitler?
Well, that tells you something right there. The church has something to do with Hitler.
The Vatican has something to do with Nazi Germany, man.
You ever watch Y-Files?
No.
They actually talk about Hitler, how Hitler's body was never found. They talk about a lot of conspiracies and things that happened in the past, aliens, all kinds of shit. They tell you all the information about the actual subject, all the information, all the data.
No proof.
and then they show you how whether or not it was real, not real, whether these people were able to be done. Like the original Bigfoot footage was debunked when he showed you that the guy was wanted to make a Bigfoot movie with the
Well, he
studio.
didn't
The
want to
studio
make a
rejected him.
Bigfoot movie. It was one of the first ever, like, around that time, that was, like, some of the first ever footage of
No, no, no.
anything.
That's fake footage. That's what he was saying. The guy that filmed that video, the original video of Bigfoot that filmed it, he was shopping a film to the movie studios who rejected him, and then shortly after they rejected him, he released this footage and profited from this footage instead.
Really?
Yeah, he was trying to film a movie. That was a guy in a costume that he paid a shitload of money for because he was trying to
Well, I
fund the
know it
movie.
was a guy in a costume who really fucking looks at the camera and winks at it.
But they said they were trying to film a movie. He couldn't get funding. They wouldn't
It
they
was a
wouldn't help.
test reel. What he wanted to take a fucking video.
He wanted to make it as
someone
realistic as
fucking-
possible.
So he got someone dressed up in a fucking monkey outfit, go walk out there, look at the camera, and keep walking weird. And then that's that. But
And
he
the thing,
probably
and the
got
thing, the thing of what
Buddy
he
got a camera, a video camera for the first time ever. Was like, let's make a fucking funny home movie. And then
no, he was trying to make a
He
real.
shows his friend, and then his friend says, "Hey, let's show other people because this could convince them this is real." And so on and so forth. Here we are, stupid fucking video people think it's real for some reason.
If you watch this guy, he breaks down every single conspiracy, everything you can. He takes you all the information, and then he tells you whether or not it's real, how it was debunked, who debunked it, when they debunked it, everything, you name it.
Elon Musk says there's aliens on Mars.
Like the last video he did, it showed he was talking about all the inventions that were made from the early 1900s up until recently, of ways they could make vehicles more efficient. And every time somebody made something more efficient, they would either disappear, their patents would be bought out, and then they would just disappear. And most of them ended up dying. Like one guy made a carburetor for a car that when it
water.
Well, no. This guy made a carburetor that it used fuel, but it would evaporate the fuel so much. It would not evaporate. It would aerosolize the fuel so good that you would have no waste. So a tank of gas that would normally get you 300 to 400 kilometers would then take you to 1,200 kilometers because it would be so efficient at aerosolizing the fuel that you would waste nothing.
Yeah,
and when he
I
tried,
remember, like 10 years ago, some dude made a car that literally, like an engine that run on fucking water.
That was in the 70s, and when he tried to patent it, and then he tried to sell it because he did drive around the states with that engine, and he was going for a meeting with some guy who wanted to buy the patent from him, and during that meeting he started grabbing his chest, and then he started saying, "They poisoned me, and then he went out in the street and actually died right in the streets. He explains that story too, but that whole thing. It's everything. He shows all the patents, and every time somebody went to go patent something, the American government has a Secrecy Act, and anything they deem that should be secreted or not out to the public, they would immediately take that patent and hide it, and they do whatever they could to make sure that didn't get out because the oil regimes didn't want it to affect their profits, and any of these other things would take directly away from that. Nowadays, you'd think if they wanted to be more efficient and make money, keep going, so they get rid of the electric vehicles, they should release these carburetors that makes vehicles more efficient. But the likelihood of that is not going to happen. If you could take a car that could only go 500 kilometers and then get yourself 1,200 kilometers, well, hell, it's more efficient than an electric car. Why would the hell would you buy an electric car? You'd stay with your carburetor engine.
Infinite circuits, right? They don't like infinite circuits because that could fucking fix a lot of problems.
No, you should watch these.
Perpetual motion can solve pretty well everything. And an electromagnet can hold a charge and produce a charge and dispel a charge just from rotating around a source of electricity.
Well, what took me more fucked up is that electric cars.
You could have an electromagnet attached to a motor that's running the electromagnet. So technically, it'll never run out of power. It's constantly charging and using.
Think about this. Think about this part.
It will rotate while being powered,
Yeah, but
while powering.
think about this. You get an electric car, and they have the braking that actually charges the battery when you push the brakes. But why can't they put an alternator in the drive shaft so when the car's running, it's constantly charging no matter what? It's already spinning. It wouldn't be much to put an alternator on there that could actually charge the batteries. Put a couple on there, put the ones on the front, one on the back, and you could charge the batteries at 15, 16 volts as it's driving. So it'd be like perpetual motion. You can literally go forever.
You can.
It literally would be charging
Perpetual
itself
motion
constantly.
is it's a law of physics that no one uses. Literally no one. We drive vehicles that run on propulsion. They're propelled.
Yeah,
They're pushed.
because there's a regime. There's the black government. They said that there's organizations that have an agenda. The agenda is either to sell fuel or whatever it is, and if this deems to hurt that, then they will do anything they can to block it at any cost.
Yeah, the
At any
pull and
cost.
push industry is fucking booming.
And it won't change until they actually start running out of oil and stuff, and then they'll move over. Even though they could make things more efficient now and last for 100 years, they'd rather burn it all out in the next 20 years and get as much money as they can.
Yeah, they want to get every fucking penny they can out of that shit.
They want to milk it dry.
I keep having weird dreams for these fucking devices, man.
I keep having weird dreams about the end of the world.
Like, I had a dream last night about Stargate and how to build it. But I forget half of it. Like, I've had that same dream probably 5 or 6 fucking times now.
Did you see what's in the store?
Building a Stargate in Andre's garage. I've had that same fucking dream like 5 or 6 times. And it's in great fucking detail. Like down to blueprints. I can see them in this dream. And I wake up.
The only problem with the Stargate is you won't be able to get back home. You could go, but you couldn't come back.
Oh, fuck it, man. I think Tesla was on to something. Electricity could open fucking holes in the fucking fabric of the universe, I think, man. If you were to condense enough electricity into one solid point without any restriction, I feel like it could rip a hole in something. Because Tesla was able to arc energy. What if you were able to condense those arcs into one space? They did that. They made a mini sun that way. They figured out that the sun might run on energy instead of fucking or electricity.
I think you should watch the Y-Files, man. You be. I think with all the shit you're interested in, you really like it.
Well, sun's made of mostly plasma, right? Gamma radiation. But who's to say there's not a core of electricity in the center of it? Because they took a fucking metal ball, put it in a vacuum chamber, so eliminated everything, basically made a tiny little universe with a fucking metal ball inside of it, and then started fucking introducing electric shocks to the ball. The ball held the charge without any power being fucking shot into it, and it started to heat up. They put like 12,000 volts into this little fucking metal sphere. It held the charge, and it started to get very fucking hot. So now they're thinking the sun might just be a ball of electricity.
It probably is.
Which would be fucked. They think, like, the electric universe theory is so fucking interesting. How gravity doesn't exist and the only thing keeping us tethered to the planet we're standing on is the electric currents running through our body into the ground. There's never a time you are not touching the ground unless you're in a plane. And even then, you're still touching something. you're grounded no matter where you are by some either unknown force or physics.
Oh my god.
Like the Grand Canyon's got it looks like electrical currents. Mars got Grand Canyons on it that look like electrical currents. They think planets collided at some point, caused fucking electric shock waves to go through the universe, and then fucking put the planets where they are today. Kind of like billiard balls.
Let me check something here. I'm gonna see if there's any quests released. Dry Valley. Oh, I was doing the quest. Oh. Upgrade Dry Valley to level 10. So I have to do that, and it gives me another 17,000 XP. Master Navigator.
6 hours. Fuck.
Craft a glider. Craft a compass. Craft a spyglass. So that's all done. Okay, there's no other Lego challenges in.
I don't want to fucking work tonight. I'm gonna get off at 8 a.m. and then sleep all day. And I gotta go to bed early tomorrow because I fucking work at like 8 a.m. on Friday.
So you're saying
I hate that. Technically I don't have a day off. When you get off at 8 a.m. after working a night shift and you're not working the day that you got off and you gotta work the next day, it's not a fucking day off. Any shift that goes into the next day makes you feel like you worked 2 fucking days in a row.
That's what 12 hour, like same thing with 12-hour shifts. When Krista works that stuff, she works from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So you're going into the next day every time. And then you only have 12 hours before the next shift starts again, and you do it all over again.
I think I get paid this Thursday.
So you only got no time to do nothing. You come home, have dinner, do whatever you're going to do, make your lunch, and bam, you're in bed after 4 hours. If you want an 8 hour sleep, but you probably have to be in bed in a couple hours.
So all I know is shit's going my way right now, and it better keep going my way, and I better be able to have a house in the next year or two because I can't fucking keep paying rent towards nothing.
No, that's the plan. That's the plan. A couple years, buy a house.
Like right now, I think I'm making. I want to say on average I make like $1,000 to $1,100 every 2 weeks. It was pretty good.